I know that this is supposed to be a Zenless Zone Zero video, but I really feel the need to share my preference on women so that you guys would know about my kinks better and also just to discuss you guys. The thing is, I like old women, but I also like them very rich. And none of them are rich. I mean, Rina does work for rich people, but that doesn't really count. So I was like, instead of going after one of them, why don't I go for two of them that qualify for both, like Lucy and Piper? I swear to God, this has nothing to do with them looking like children. It seems like Piper has a really good synergy with Vivian, but the problem is her choice of support is only limited to the Son of Claydon faction, like Caesar and Lucy, but I guess that is already powerful enough for the free-to-play team. I got about 1 minute 44 on the Shiyu defense, even though this Shiyu defense has 20% buff on both Ether and physical anomaly builds up, so it's not gonna perform this well in other Shiyu defense. And to be totally fair, they also HP inflate a little bit this time, I guess. And the other perks of this is that you could have your best team on the other side of the Shiyu defense. Let's move on to the Deadly Assault. And I got some really questionable result that I'm also in disbelief. My Piper got better score than Jane though, without signature Wenjin. Both of them are using similar gear, like my Piper is using 20% energy regen, and my Jane Doe is on the Anomaly Mastery 2 set. And I think it's simply because Jane Doe without signature weapon couldn't utilize Vivian's kit enough. Her anomaly builds up and her frequency on skill couldn't catch up with Vivian's stack, which I'm gonna explain later on the mini Vivian guide. It could be the buff of this Deadly Assault where it's highly favorable to the anomaly builds up, and I think the reason that Yanagi is a really good pair is because Yanagi doesn't really need a lot of energy to use her EX skill, and all of them are using Gemini in this context. And if you're not familiar with Vivian yet, here's a quick rundown of what she does. So you basically want to accumulate the 5 stack up here. Using ultimate would give 5 stack, skill would give 3, chain attacks and the parry gives 2, basic attack, dodge attacks and quick assist into basic or give 1. Unless you know the effective way to animation cancel it, I don't think it's justifiable to use the one that could only get 1 stack. And the real money shot is to parry with Vivian to get that 2 stack. So how good you play Vivian is gonna be dependent on how well you parry the enemy with Vivian and also managing her stack. The Vivian's kit seems to be really complicated that require you to activate the stack, but it's basically telling you to swap her off. As long as you're swapping her off, you are totally fine with activating her stack, which is the off-field attacks with Ether Element. And there are 2 conditions that is gonna use this stack. Like 1, you wanna trigger the anomaly. 2, you wanna use the skill. And what makes Piper so good with Vivian is that she could trigger the anomaly twice with 1 single skill because her anomaly builds up is absolutely crazy. So she could realistically consume 3 stack with 1 single button. So I use ultimate to get the 5 stack for the Vivian, swapping to Piper, then start spinning. So I trigger this one, Abloom, along with anomaly, and I release skill at the right time, and getting Piper's heavy attacks and trigger the anomaly at the same time, using a total of 3 stack from Piper. And I'm not even using Freedom Blue, I use Fang Metal. The other stack is being consumed by Vivian herself, proxying her own anomaly. With that said, this is just a demonstration that shows what Piper is capable of. This is not a good way to do your rotation in general. What you actually want to do is that you want to keep building anomaly right after you procs the anomaly to get the 35% buff from the Fang Metal until at least like 70-80% of the anomaly builds up. Then you swap to other characters to do all the rotation that they need. And yeah, my Vivian is literally rotating around the enemies. Assume that she finished her rotation here. Now I swap back to Piper and trigger the anomaly. I will still get 100% of the benefit from the buff. And then you repeat the whole process so that you will still retain all the benefit from the Fang Metal 4 set buff to capitalize on the 35% damage buff. And for the same reason, you want to use your ultimate right after you procs your anomaly, but after you build up for like about 20-30% of anomaly so that you could procs another anomaly on the last hit crit of the ultimate. And the same principle also applies to the Thunder Metal 4 set when you are playing Grace or Yanagi. While with Jane though, she needs a loss of energy to use her skill, and her anomaly builds up can never catch up with Vivian's stack without the signature weapon. I could see a huge chunks of differences if Jane Doe is equipped with her signature, but I couldn't realistically test it because I don't have her signature. So yeah, I do think she should be better than Piper with signature, cause that allow her to utilize Vivian's stack, which is Vivian's main sources of damage. And I don't see content creators out there put these number into something that people would understand it easily. So there you go. So basically this wall of text mean if Fire got 100% benefit from it, Ether would get 104%, Electro would get 108, Physical would get 134, and Ice would get 135. So Ice and Physical are getting 30% more benefit from Vivian's ability. So Ice and Physical synergize with Vivian's ability better than the rest of the attributes. So yeah, you wanna keep an eye on the future Ice Anomaly agents, cause he or she would probably has the best synergy with Vivian, assuming that they are on-field DPS. And the reason why people talks about how it benefit Jane Doe is because Jane Doe Anomaly could crit up to 50%, and that would also give extra damage to the Vivian Abloom damage. So the way I build my Piper is with Fang Metal 4 set. I use Anomaly Mastery on this number 6, Physical on 5, and Anomaly Proficiency on 4. I try to be a smart ass to use 30% attack percentage on this number 6 because the more damage you could pops up, the better the Vivian's kit is gonna be, but the results say it otherwise. And I guess there are 3 reasons. Like 1, I'm not able to utilize her stack enough, and 2 is because of the nature of the Fang Metal 4 set. You gotta keep building up the anomaly after you trigger the physical anomaly, cause it's gonna give 35% damage buff for 12 seconds, and having more anomaly mastery allow you to proc the buff from the Fang Metal 4 set more. And the 3rd reason is I was using the Gemini. You're gonna trigger the anomaly 4 times quickly in order to get 100% of buff from the Vengeance for both Vivian and the Piper, and using the attack main stat, stopping me from getting full stack early. So this is gonna be my Shiyu defense run here. I start with Vivian, swap to Lucy and move a little bit to group the mobs. So I got both Lucy's buff and the Astral Voice buff and clear the mobs without even finishing Piper's skill. Then I keep spinning into the boss and I use Lucy's skill again and get another Astral Voice buff. Then I parry with Vivian, and I intentionally aim for that because parry with Vivian is extremely important because majority of her damage are coming from her stack, and get the easy to stack from parrying. One thing about Astral Voice that is so forgiving is that you could get quick assist from getting hit by the mobs, and you would get more attack buff from that, making your mistakes so much more recoverable. And yeah, an ultimate here. If you find yourself running out of stack, just use Vivian's ultimate immediately. The whole run doesn't really have anything fancy. It's really just to keep Piper on field as much as possible to get her energy back so that she could spin. And remember to pre-build your anomaly so that you wouldn't lose the buff from Metal Fang 4 set, and manage your Vivian stack and parry as much as possible. And I just kind of repeat that until I kill the boss. That's pretty much the end of video. And I would like to talk a little bit about the future of my channel because my guide haven't been doing that well. And I think this is probably the last guide that I'm gonna make with a lot of in-depth testing. I may make another free-to-play guide with Yixuan, and I think I would like to shift my channel into more of a commentary types of content, talking about gacha game in general, and not just sticking to Zenless Zone Zero, and probably more about Genshin and some of the upcoming games. Ananta, Arknight, Never to Everness, those gacha games do have my attention, and I kind of interested to those. And back then I wasn't really fully equipped with the skill set to do a commentary video because I kind of stutter all the time when I'm doing recording. And I kind of stutter significantly less than when I was started. It could actually took me up to a week to just record it and another week to edit just to see the video flop when I get started. I know what I signed up for, but it's still heartbreaking broken when it happens. But some of the videos recently, like the Yixuan one, it only took me 24 hours to finish it. And the other video that I made on the IShowSpeed, I also finished that within 2 days. So I think from now on, my channel would be doing one commentary video, then I'm gonna do one live stream, and doing that interchangeably. And I think I might be opening up membership pretty soon, and I think I would just add 5 emoji per week until it reach 50. And yeah, if you made it this far and keep listening to me yapping, I'm very appreciated. Even if you are like casually listening to it, but keeps playing the videos is already a huge support for me. But overall, I'm pretty excited with the future of my content. And yeah, join my Discord. The place has been more emptier than the Snow White Theater, but I'm gonna be more active there. And yeah, see ya guys.